Okay, so obviously everybody is talking about this whole Charlie Kirk ordeal. Well, the thing that's been coming up that I keep hearing a lot of is, if you talk about it and you say something like, I felt really bad for Charlie Kirk or something along that line, people will actually accuse you of being a Christian nationalist for even feeling bad for the fact that this guy died. And, across Christendom, there's just been a lot of talk about Christian nationalism. What is it? And people accusing others of being Christian nationalists when in fact they're not. Now, Christian nationalism is a thing. What is Christian nationalism? It's in the name, Christian nationalism. Those who are Christians, who unite with the nation, the state, nationalists, okay, to bring about change. So the exact definition of Christian nationalism is this. It's a political ideology that seeks to fuse Christian and American identities, contending that the U.S. was founded as and should remain a Christian nation, okay? And you usually find a coming about of Christian nationalism when there's a lot of apostasy, right? So if there's apostasy in the country, right, the people feel as if they can't do anything to bring it back to what it was supposed to be, and they're not relying on the Holy Spirit as they should. And what they do is rely on the government instead to bring about moral reform, right? And so during the Biden era, what we saw was that people didn't, it got to a point where people didn't even know what a woman was, right? The gender confusion, everything just got so insane that it prepared the way for the madness that we are now seeing and witnessing as Christian nationalism. But this idea that you're a Christian nationalist just because you feel bad that that guy was shot to death for his views, where you feel like he should be able to wield those views and not be shot for it, right? Because understand that, when a person is killed because of what they believe, we are living in something similar to the Dark Ages. We know that in the end of the world, according to Bible prophecy, the state, the Christians will unite with the state in order to bring about change. In the book of Thessalonians, we see, there's a verse that says, let no one deceive. This is Paul talking to the people. They thought that Jesus was going to be coming back sooner than he would. And so Paul gave them this advice. Let no one deceive you by any means, for that day will not come unless there come a falling away first, and the man of sin be revealed. So there would first be a falling away, and then the man of sin would be revealed. The same pattern happens with Christian nationalism. There's a falling away, the church unites with the state, and it produces something similar to this man of sin, which is the papacy. That's what happened in the time of the Roman Empire. Things got so bad when it comes to morality that the people started to rely on the state. The Christians started to rely on the state to bring about change, and that's what ended up resulting in the papacy, that's the Antichrist power. And so Christian nationalism ultimately leads to something similar to the papacy, an image to Rome. It will always produce that, an image to the papacy. Since they were the first, whatever you create after that is an image to that, right? And so that is Christian nationalism, guys. So this idea that, just because, even if I support some of Charlie Kirk's views, that does not make me a Christian nationalist, because I don't believe the church should ever the church should ever reach out for the arm of the state in order to gain help. That is unbiblical. It is not a good idea, and history shows us that it only produces persecution. It produces a very controlling state of things, where the government becomes more controlling than you will ever see it. And so we are heading in that direction. But make no mistake about it, just because a person agrees with some of Charlie's views does not make them a Christian nationalist. And here's another thing to think about. People always say that the right is where Christian nationalists, would be, right? Well, it's true. The right is definitely pushing for this Christian nationalism. They're pushing for unity of church and state. But remember when people would say things like, oh, during the Biden era, during leftist eras, oh, communism isn't that bad because, in the book of Acts, didn't they all share? Didn't they have all things in common? And they brought all their things and shared it. And people use that to support Marxism and communism. Well, when you use the Bible like that in order to support some change you would like to see the government make, that is Christian nationalism. Understand that Christian nationalism doesn't only come from the right. When you hear a person say, oh, we should let people into our country, we should let the immigrants into the country, and just like, it doesn't matter because they're fleeing from oppression, and wouldn't Jesus do that? You are appealing to the Bible, bringing it together with things that the state should be deciding, and using that to come to a decision in your head. That is Christian nationalism, okay? So, don't get it twisted, guys. Christian nationalism doesn't just come from the right, it also comes from the left. And we know prophetically that the right and the left will unite to persecute the people of God. Because in the end of the world, when the mark of the beast is rolling out, there's only going to be two classes, those who accept God and those who don't. And those who don't will be the ones who are pushing for Christian nationalism. So if there's only two classes, then that means that Republicans and Democrats are going to blend into one. They're going to unite to persecute God's chosen people. So anyway, guys, that's it from this guy. God bless. Peace.